We're back, baby!
We're back. Are you rolling?
No.
All right. Welcome back to the first Botched by Babish in well over a year's time. Today, we're taking a look at, what was it? Ribwich.
We're back, baby!
Today, we're taking a look at the Ribwich. Now, I didn't necessarily screw it up, but I didn't do like the show accurate version. I just made a gourmand's version. And one or two commenters said you should make the frozen patty of pork product that's gesturally reheated and put on what could be termed by the US government as a bun. And I'm down to do that. The patty, I absolutely guarantee, is not made from ribs. Why? Because ribs, pound for pound, most expensive pork on the meat on the pork, meat on the pig, because it's mostly bones. It's when you're getting ribs, you're buying it for the novelty of the almost McRib-like form factor. So what we're going to do is, instead of using any ribs whatsoever, we're going to use pork shoulder because it's virtually the same meat, just in a different form factor. So we're going to break that down. We're going to process it in a food processor to make a sort of pork paste, and then we're going to form it into the rib form factor, giving it pleats, if you will. Pleats? No. Ribbing it for your pleasure. I had to. First thing we have to do is cut up the pork and then freeze it briefly so as to firm it before passing it through the food processor.
I probably want to start with the bread first, just it needs to...
Never mind, we're starting with the bread. In order to start with the bread, I'm going to use a mixer because I don't feel like doing this by hand. There's no way McDonald's does it by hand. We're starting with what looks like about 2 cups of water, precisely. And to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of instant yeast and 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to tiny whisk those together so that there is a semblance of homogeneity. So we have 1 pound, 2 ounces of bread flour, to which I'm going to add ½ a cup. And I'm going to tiny whisk these together to evenly distribute the semolina. Did I say cornmeal just now? No, I said semolina, right? Did I say semolina?
I haven't been listening.
And just like that, I'm going to add it to the flour. Turn this on and mix this until I get a shaggy dough, and then I'm going to add oil and salt, and then I'm going to knead it until it passes the window pane test, probably. Okay, so I have not been keeping track of how long this has been going, because like McDonald's, I'm cooking with my intuition. You know, I'm not following a recipe. It's not the McDonald's way. That's a wet dough. That's quite a wet dough, but that's probably okay. So let's see if it is up to the task of being window paned. Look at that. That is popular video game franchise, Max Payne. This is an extraordinarily wet dough though. So maybe I should handle it using oil?
I thought you'd handle it using hands.
Folks, this is a solemn promise from me. Unless I am in very real danger, I'm done screaming. I'm done screaming. This is a chill channel, and I shouldn't have been screaming in the first place. I'm going to oil both the bowl and my digits, and I'm going to let this proof at room temp for an hour, hour and a half, until it has Michael Dublayed in size.
Because it's buble, but you said duble.
What do you mean? Next up, a bit of light butchery. Why is this not working? That's not true. Yes, they are. You know the faster way to dry your hands?
Cut them off?
All right, so we have some pork shoulder. meat. So I'm cutting this into about 1-inch cubes. I want something that the food processor is going to be able to handle, because rather than grind this, we're going to use a food processor so that we get more, almost like a hot dog farce, because it is a pretty uniform texture, this patty. I assume it's going to be a pretty smooth grind. Brad, when's the last time you had a McRib? You'll notice I didn't ask if you've had a McRib. I said, when's the last time you had a McRib?
But I've never had a McRib.
Oh, f me then. My favorite piece of pork that I have here.
Yeah. Like, you had to pick one.
It's like asking me to pick my favorite child. Oh, okay, this guy. This is my favorite right here. This almost looks like pork belly due to the amount of fat that's involved in its constitution. And this is, don't tell the others, but this is my favorite piece of pork amongst the batch.
I'm glad we shared this moment.
Yeah, thanks for asking me a question. Meat's good and chili. Got it here. See, it's perfect.
That doesn't look like chili to me.
You finished?
I'm sorry.
Good. I'm going to do this in batches so as to not overwhelm the machine. And I'm going to add a bit of ground rosemary because we're trying to follow the exact recipe from the McDonald's Nutrition Facts website. And that states that it contains ground pork parts, a lot of salt, sugar, of course, because it's McDonald's, and a little bit of rosemary oil, which is a preservative and not very flavorful in its own right. So we're going to use just rosemary because it's a very prevalent ingredient in barbecue. And then while the machine runs, I'm going to stream some ice water in to emulsify it into the meat. That's hopefully gonna do something, I don't know. Got the rosemary. What do you want me to do this? It's in shadow over here. It doesn't matter, I'm just grinding some rosemary.
Don't you do things in shadow over time?
I do. This city just showed you. That's not even my good. I can do a better Batman than that.
Prove it.
Where were the other drugs going? They were in the Narrows. The cops only go there when they're in force. Do I look like a cop? That was pretty good. Okay. That looks farcical to me. All right. There, ladies and germs, is our pork farce. It looks good and like almost whipped, like emulsified, which means that it's gonna probably have a nice smooth texture, which is really what you want in your preformed rib pork patty. But how does it taste?
No.
What?
No.
Don't, what, eat the, why not?
No, don't do it.
What's wrong with it?
No. I felt like you were going to do it for the joke, and I really don't want you to.
It's
I wouldn't do that.
It's fine.
I would never do
It
that.
was really close to your
I would-
No,
no,
now
I
I
ne-
really think you're going to do it more than ever.
Why would I put this in my mouth?
I'm so certain you're going to do it. Now that the camera's not on you, maybe
No,
not.
it is though. It is though, Andrew. If you did it, I would capture
Don't do
it.
it. No, I'm so serious.
But now I'll get Kendall's face if
There's
you do.
stuff happening in the world right now.
So bread. Our bread dough has damn near doubled in volume. It's time to form it, which actually I don't know how to do. How are these being formed?
Flour your work surface and sprinkle cornmeal on 2 baking sheets. Turn out the dough and divide into 4 roughly equal pieces. Roll each piece into a log about 12 inches long. Place 2 logs on each piece. So look at
What? All right, so in order to roll these into hoagies, I'm going to pat them out into a rectangle and then just kind of roll them up and then sort of try to taper the edges, even it out a little bit, and tell me that doesn't look like a piece of shit. Okay, pat it out into a rectangle, and you said fold it like in the thirds?
And then, but if that one goes a little bit further in, and then that last piece goes all the way over, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. I see. So like over here, and then all the way over. And then I flip it over on its seam,
I don't know.
twist it a little bit. They're all bad, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try straight up rolling this one, just like a jelly log.
Why is it called a jelly log?
I don't know. I don't know, Brad. I just sort of said some words. I smashed a couple words together to see if anything useful would come out. Turns out, no. Turns out you can't just say stuff.
It's almost like it just doesn't make any sense.
It's almost like we shouldn't even be doing this. It's almost like we're massively underqualified to be making a cooking show. And it's a wonder that anybody followed us in the first place, much less continues to support us. It's almost like that. So these are going to rise for some amount of time. Going this way. So, in order to rib my meat, I'm going to wrap it in silicone, what's that stuff that condoms are made of?
Hair.
So to make these patties ribbed, I'm going to put them in some latex.
Isn't that
So-
silicone?
I'm going to lube up said silicone, and I'm going to start forming this into friggin' patties. I'm eyeballing it. Yeah, buddy. That looks like a McRib. Especially on this side. I think this side's gonna look even more like a McRib. That is how you make a McRib patty at home. You know, even if it's only ribbed like that on one side, it's fine.
I think it looks fantastic.
I think it looks amazing.
I really didn't have the vision that you had.
So happy.
I think it looks disgusting.
That's very nice.
That wasn't very nice, Brad. What was your aim in saying that? To get some yucks? Compared to how it's actually made, this is beautiful. This is like childbirth.
What?
It's beautiful. This is like mountains. it's like a picture of mountains. This. Brad, compared to the reality of how the McRib is made, this is beautiful. Sorry, I'm all porked out here. I'm all porked out. Woo!
Sorry.
Okay, we have our pork patties. I never thought I'd see the day. So these are going in the freezer because naturally, before anything you eat at McDonald's is cooked, it has been frozen and shipped and frozen again and microwaved. That's how it works. That's what we're doing. These guys are going in the freezer. We're out of things to say. Still going with the sentence, doing that bit again. I think I'm done. Welcome back to Botched by Babish. Bread. Oh, he is risen. It's Easter somewhere. I'm gonna dust these with a little bit more semolina because they appear to be dusted as such on McDonald's website. So now I'm gonna place a slash right down the shaft, thusly. All right, here we go. Into the oven they go. It's at 350, which is the temperature at which they're gonna be baked for an amount of time. After which, we'll take them out and look at them and decide whether or not we gotta do it again. This is a cooking show. All right. These look surprisingly good, considering how badly I put them together. So these are looking righteous. The pork patties are freezing, and we're gonna put all these things together tomorrow. So we'll see you then.
Run. Andrew, wake up.
I was just finding my center. Okay, folks, it's day 2. Pork patties have been patified. The bread has just been kind of hanging out, and we're gonna make some pickles. I'm doing a quick pickle. These are cucumbers. I'm gonna thinly slice them, and then I'm going to make a pickling brine, bring it to a boil, pour it over, let them sit for like 30, 45 minutes, and that's how you make quick pickles. We have 1 spotty brown clove of garlic. Throwing that in there. I'm also gonna throw the spices in here. We have half a teaspoon of dried dill, 1 teaspoon of mustard seed, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, a tablespoon of sugar, single bay leaf, and a half teaspoon of Telecherry peppercorns. So now we're gonna combine half a cup of white vinegar and 1/3 of a cup of water. And we're gonna bring those to and simmer. Now all we have to do, daintily pour it over top. Just gonna give this a little stir to make sure that the salt and the sugar have did that thing where they become no longer a solid in the presence of a liquid, which is dissolve. That's the word. Cover this up, let it sit for about 45 minutes, and you got yourself some quick pickles. Barbecue sauce. All right, so we have 1.5 cups of water. What's with the cornstarch?
So McDee's has cornstarch in theirs.
So I'm just gonna bring all this to a simmer and then add cornstarch to it,
That's it.
like a simp.
Yeah.
Am I using that word right, child?
No. The word changes meaning when, you know, my boss says it.
What we have here is 1.5 cups of tomato paste that we're combining with 1.5 cups of water. You might notice that those are the same amounts. That's no accident, folks. That's the power of measurement. 1/4 cup of molasses. Just said that weird just to piss you off. And it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It didn't piss you off that bad. But it made a measurable change in the quality of your day. 3 tablespoons of sugar. And since this still needs more sugar, we have 3/4 cup of high fructose corn syrup. It wouldn't be McDonald's without sugar made from corn. We have 1/4 cup of white vinegar. We got a teaspoon of liquid smoke, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Do they use smoked paprika, or are we just doing that to bring more smoke flavor?
No. Second one.
So we're not being accurate, essentially.
Well, it's in, they put, hold on.
No, I don't care.
They
Let's
wrote-
bring this to a simmer over on the stovetop. I guess probably cook that for like 30 minutes. I'm going to give this a regular size whisking so as to incorporate all this shit.
No, I'll bet you that this sauce is going to be on fleek. Remember that millennial slang?
We're so old, dude. We're so f***ing old.
Yeah. What happened to us?
Actually, we had a pretty good run.
Yeah,
If this is the end, if this is how it ends,
I don't know, but I mean, if it is, I'm glad I'm with you.
thanks, man. So, I let this simmer for like 30 minutes, and it has thickened of its own accord. I see no need to artificially thicken it, so I'm not going to. So I'm gonna take this off the heat, and there are thinly sliced white onions, so I'm just gonna slice some onions in anticipation of that reality. Were you not recording? Oh no, for how long?
God damn it. All right, Andrew, it's time for you to punish me.
Brad, this time a year ago, I would have until you were screaming with joy. But I'm a changed man now. I'm grown, okay? And I can forgive. I know that isn't exciting for you from the perspective of gratification, but to be fair, you need therapy. So now, since we have buns and patties of all manner of shapes and sizes, I'm gonna try to make a good match here. I want a patty that's at least resembles its target bun. I think this guy is definitely my best bet. It's the exact size and shape. This is the single worst one, and I think it's gonna be my guy. Yeah, all these patties are perfectly shaped to the reject bun. That just goes to show you, kids, don't sleep on the weirdo. You know what I was in middle school? A weirdo. You know what I am now? Rich. This is the
John Doe.
buns right here. This is me.
John Doe?
He was not only like he was like a mid-tier bully. He wasn't like the one who like shoved me into the lockers and shit, but like he would just make fun of me for not being allowed to watch South Park and stuff like that. And he ruined my life at the time because it was like an after-school special. I was cashing my first ever paycheck, and I was leaving the bank, and he rode up on his bike with his latchkey friend, and he was like, "Hey, you want to buy some weed?" And this is the way it was in my memory. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I do." So I was curious. I was very curious. For $60, he gave me these 2 baggies that were probably oregano. Like, we were in 8th grade, people. This was not a legit drug deal. I brought it home, and I felt so guilty, I thought I might die. I thought I had let down my God, my country, my scout troop, my father, everything. I thought that I had betrayed everything I had worked so hard to build at age 12. So I felt so bad, I called
John Doe.
and I said, "Please take it back." "Please take it back, I can't keep this." And he said, "I'm not giving you your money back." And I said, "Okay, just take it." What was I thinking? Like, I lived next to a cornfield. I could have shot-putted that into the wilderness. But I was like, okay, I'll bring it back to him for free. So I biked over to his house, did a little handoff on his driveway. I biked home, and I felt relief that I haven't felt since and will never feel again. Because the next day, he called me and he said, "Hey, my dad's gonna call your dad." And I was like, "What?" And apparently, those 2 baggies, we had dropped one of the baggies on the driveway next to his father's car. And he saw it in the morning. And here's how
John Doe
ruined my life, is that he told his dad that I came to his house trying to sell him weed, and he said no. So, while my dad was kind enough to kind of believe me, the rest of the neighborhood were not so gracious, and I garnered the reputation as the neighborhood drugs dealer, despite never having used and only briefly having frightfully handled an 1/8 of weed. I became the neighborhood drug dealer. And on my birthday, my best friend at the time, his mom called me and told me not to hang out with her son anymore. And this was my only friend in the world. So I had to change schools. It changed my whole life for the better. I ended up going to a nice school, and it changed my whole life. So that just goes to show you that maybe things will work out, and maybe things aren't as bad as they seem in that moment. Maybe they will lead to an even better situation.
And so how does this relate to bread?
Gluten development? Let's cut this bread. Very carefully, actually, because I just realized this is my only shot at happiness. Really don't want to muss this up. Wow, did I just do that perfectly? Whoa, perfect. I'm gonna nuke this for about 10 seconds so it gets nice and soft and pillowy and warm. And then I'm going to cook the patty to McDonald's specifications. A body cam of a McDonald's employee went viral recently, where they showed the process where they just kind of like pan fry it for a second. They just shove it into a drawer, and then with barbecue sauce, and they just like heat it through the rest of the way with the barbecue sauce. So that's effectively what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna eat it, and then Brad and I are gonna take a little break, because it's been a long week. If you can't tell from how unhinged I'm becoming. Are you rack focusing right now, or just letting it go? All right. I think this is my winner man. Yeah, this guy's appropriately thin and ridged. It's a perfect fit. It's a match made in hell. Fan smoking. It's a little bit of oil in here, and so now I'm just going to get a little color on this guy, and then I'm gonna douse him in the sauce. Yeah, so in the leaked body cam footage, this McDonald's employee just sort of throws it in there until it's got a little golden color on it, and then they throw it, they shove it in the drawer, and then they douse it in barbecue sauce and boil it till it's done. So
aren't the body cams supposed to prevent that kind of violence?
you'd think. All right, a little bit of color. It's pretty much exactly where I wanted it to go. So now I'm going to turn this down and do this.
Proud of yourself?
I mean, to some degree, I'm always upset with what I'm doing. I'm going to go microwave this. I'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. 'Cause it's going to take me so long to go down here and microwave it.
Oh,
That's the joke.
It's a joke. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny.
I like that.
This is probably done, question mark? Okay. This has been cooked to a state of doneness. It has some nice caramelized barbecue sauce to show for it. That looks like, it looks pretty McRibby, if you ask me. Are you asking me?
No.
No. The pickles. Throw them down all over the place, as though I didn't have a care in the world. Could you imagine? Onions, thinly sliced, whispers of onion. Top it up, and there we have it. We have the more show-accurate version of the Ribwich. Let's see how we fared. I mean, that tastes like the Ribwich, yeah. I mean, it's just pork with barbecue sauce and pickles and onions. So how could we possibly get this wrong? Actually, it's incredible. Kendall said maybe don't use rosemary in the pork patty because she thought they add rosemary extract or oil as a preservative, not as a flavorant. And she was dead right, because there's one flavor that doesn't belong in here that wasn't in the McRib whenever I've had it, and it's the rosemary. So leave that out if you do this at home. I don't know why you would. And you're gonna have yourself a McRib any time of year, no matter what pork prices may be. You can have it in your home.
Speaking of, where is Kendall?
I know what you're thinking.